Hey, hey, hey. I'm your humble host, Fizz Ed Music, and this right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing. As you do, please, as soon as you have a chance after this video, let your fingers do the walk. You take a little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe, Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to get right into it like a car and drive because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into. If you watch the news like I do, and Lord knows I watch it all day, all night, addicted to the news. I love it. Watch it too much. Some people say. You've heard the new buzzword is DEI, DEI, DEI. There was a plane crash not too long ago. That was horrible. My heart and my condolences go out to the families. A lot of people passed away in that, right? They want to hold some people accountable. Somebody should be held accountable. Private air traffic controllers, among other people. But with that, the first thing the president gets on TV and talks about is this DEI hiring. Says DEI is the reason that plane went down. DEI, because they have people in positions and they didn't earn those positions. It's this DEI hiring, right? So you ask yourself, what in the world is DEI? Well, some of you all who might be older, as old as me or older, remember affirmative action. Remember that? You remember hearing that term, affirmative action? And that is when they called themselves having to have quotas of different black and brown people working wherever you were working, right? So if you had an institution or whatever, you had to have so many people who were from a minority group, right? Working at your agency. Maybe 10% of the people at your agency had to be from this minority group, which if you ask me is not that big a deal because that doesn't affect that many black and brown people, right? That's 10% of all black and brown. I used to tell people that all the time. I've even talked about it a million years ago when it was a thing on this show. That's how long I've been doing this show. I talked about affirmative action, talked about how it only helped 10% of all minorities. So that means, you know what I'm saying, you got 100 employees, right? So 10 of them would need to be black, Hispanic, Spanish, Asian, something like that. That's not that big a deal, right? Because you still got 90 employees that can be white if you want them to be. So this DEI is kind of the same thing, right? Because even affirmative action was about helping white women. DEI is about including white women. People don't know that though. Whenever people hear, let's talk about DEI first of all. DEI means diversity, equity, and inclusion. Whenever people hear diversity, the first thing they think of is what? Black folk. That just is the idea. When you hear diversity, you think black people, which not so much all the time. Because believe it or not, in this country, black folk, I mean, we are diverse, right? We're diversity, but there are other diversities in this country as well. Equity and inclusion. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, people think it helps minorities. The biggest demo helped by DEI is white women. Some of the other things that DEI has brought us, check this out. Paid leave, right? So you know what I'm saying, when you need to leave because you know what I'm saying, you're sick or whatever like that, they'll pay you for that leave. That's coming from DEI. Maternity leave. When these ladies get pregnant, they end up in the family where they are with child. They need to take time off to have that baby and then bond with that baby before they come back to work. DEI brought you that. Therapy for vets. God knows. These men and women, they go off. You know what I'm saying? They spill blood and foreign mud and they come back with mental illness. DEI is making a way for these people to get therapy, to get some help from what they've endured 1,000 miles away from home, right? Mothering rooms blows me away. I have worked with young ladies who had a child, right? And they had to pump and they were able to find a room to do that with dignity and with privacy. I never thought about it at the time. DEI is what brought you that. DEI is the reason we have these mothering rooms so that women can breastfeed and still work and still provide that nourishment for their children. Paid caregiver. You might have a sick person in your family. Say your mom falls ill. Your dad's got diabetes. Your mama got high blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? She needs help. You need to take time off of work and tend to her because there's nobody else in the family to do it. DEI brought you that. It's a shame, though, that a lot of this stuff will get taken away and get lost, right? Because people hear DEI and they think about black and brown people getting something that they don't think they should get. And that's pathetic. But that's been commonplace in America. In America, you have people who don't look like me slighting themselves and cheating themselves out of things because they thought that people like me would get it. That's got to stop, ladies and gentlemen. That is a game that's been played by the rich and the elite for too doggone long. When are people going to get hip to that? When is white America gonna get hip to that? You know, why would you play yourself out of health care, universal health care, which every other country on the planet has, I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, please push back, but I don't think I am. Every other country on the planet's got it, but this one, and you know it's about racism. Be done with it. Say we don't care anymore. If those black and brown people, they should be getting free health care the way we should be getting it too. Our government should be taking better care of us. Stop letting racism stop you from getting these things that the government should be giving to you. Anyway, moving on, but that's DEI. So when you hear that, know that DEI ain't nothing but a code for black and brown people. And then Trump sits up there and he says, yeah, a lot of people died from this crash, and I think it was because of DEI. And my man was even like, how do you walk across that bridge, bruh? How do you correlate DEI hiring to all these deaths on this plane? Well, because I have common sense. Obviously you don't, because one has zero to do with the other, sir. DEI don't have nothing to do with a faulty plane that may have went down and killed a bunch of people. What does that have to do with DEI, right? Blows me away. Whatever. So it's about, we got to get out of a lot of that. I'm going to bring that back up too, because another character in this administration I'm going to talk about, he was real big on talking about DEI, or talking about merit-based hiring. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the orange guy. I have to, right? We're talking about politics. We got to talk about Trump. He's the man of the hour, the way he likes it, center of the conversation. I know he's loving it. His ears are somewhere, you know what I'm saying, burning right now, because we talk about, everybody talking about him all the time. He likes it that way, but I'm going to talk about him. Check it out. First week in office, 1965 Equal Employment Acts revoked. Revoked since 1965. You could not fire a person based on their religion, sex, race, or sexual orientation. Gone. One signature. Now that's gone. Gone. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Now someone owns a business. Someone can walk in there. They can look at them and say, that guy or gal looks gay. I don't like them. No thanks. Not hiring you. Right? Somebody can walk into the door and be like, dang, on the phone, that sound like a white man, but he walked into the door. Black as ace of spades. I don't want him here. Ain't hiring him. That's legal now. This guy just made that legal. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. That's a shame, right? Try to eliminate birthright citizenship. Woo-wee, that blows me away. Do you know that's in the Constitution? That's one of the pillars of this country. On the Statue of Liberty, what does it say at her feet? Bring me your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. I've talked about it on this show before. We are a country of immigrants. The only people native to this land is who? The Native Americans. And a lot of them were eradicated. So they're the only people who can say they belong here and are here natively, right? Not even my people. We are stolen goods. That's why I tell people all the time, when this immigration stuff going on, we don't have to worry, because we're stolen goods. And the white man ain't never gave back anything he stole. So we're not going anywhere, right? But that's what people don't understand. The only people native to this soil are the Native Americans. Anybody else, somebody brought you here, or you came here from somewhere else. So the fact that they would sit here and talk about birthright citizenship, really? And they were even saying that no one is an illegal citizen on stolen land. I agree. The land is stolen. So even them immigrants who might jump the border or whatever, and you claim that they don't go through the proper channels, which is hard to do and usually costs a lot of money. I've talked about that on this show too, right? Just because they don't do all that, they talking about they illegal. How are they illegal when the land is stolen? The land is stolen. I think it was the mayor of Chicago. I think it was the mayor of Chicago, and that's what he said. They want me to be mad about these people coming here from other countries when this is them just coming back to their land, right? California at one point was owned by Mexico. Texas, some of those were owned by Mexico and it was stolen. So you got those people coming back to their land. You want me to call them illegal immigrants? It's sad. It's sad because a lot of people run around this country and they talk a lot of stuff. They don't know anything about the history of this country. They have not cracked a book to even learn about the history of the soil they walk upon every day. Or else they would know better than to sit here and say, oh, those illegal immigrants need to go back to where they're from. When you're walking on stolen land. You're walking on stolen land. Know that, ladies and gentlemen. So there's that, right? So they want to eliminate birthright citizenship, which 30 other countries have. I didn't know that. There are 30 other countries to where if you go there, you get with a woman, y'all have a baby, that baby is a citizen of that place because it was born on that soil. So America's not the only place that does that, right? But now they want to get rid of it. Why is that? Ask yourself, why is that? Now, I remember back in the day, I'd heard Trump use a term that I don't hear him using so much anymore because it was really unpopular. Anchor babies. That's what he called them. He said, that is so disrespectful, ain't it? But that's your boy. He came up with that term. Talking about these women come over here, have a baby. It's an anchor baby. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's an anchor into America. You know, they had this baby. Now they, anchored into American soil. Okay, whatever. It is what it is, but we're not the only country that does it. Other countries do it. What else did he do his first week? First week in office, this guy fires 17 attorney generals. That's interesting. Now, attorney generals get fired all the time, right? It's not that big a deal. Probably wouldn't even be politicized. But 17, I think that was all of them. That was pretty much, he cleaned house on attorney generals. What do attorney generals do, you might ask? Attorney generals oversee waste and overspending in all departments of government. Attorney generals are the watchdogs of the federal government. They're the watchdogs of the federal government. They're the gatekeepers. They're the adults in the room. Think about that. He just got rid of the wardens. So now we have the prisoners running the asylum. We have the prisoners running the jail. We have the animals running the zoo. We have the inmates running the jail. That's what's going on in the White House because Trump just got rid of all the adults in the room. He just got rid of all the watchdogs. Ain't nobody watching now. Now him and his boys can run amok and he's draining the swamp. Woo-wee, they about to be doing backstrokes in the swamp. You know what I'm saying? They already doing it. Getting all this money off this Bitcoin and all this other garbage. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Say nothing but Trump taking America for another financial ride. He gonna lace his pockets with cash. Him and his other rich buddies, you know what I'm saying? Some of these titans of industry, they're going to lace their pockets with cash. It'll be a done deal. And we're going to pay for it. The American taxpayers are going to pay for it. First of all, before you fire an attorney general, you're supposed to give 30 days notice and specific reasons for firing them. He ain't do none of that. Like a lot of these people he's been nominated for these different positions, they supposed to go through different steps. A lot of that he ain't got rid of. Anytime he can circumvent the law, Trump is gonna do that. He's a real life hustler, he a real life bad man. Real life bad man. So whenever he can get around the law, he gonna get around it, right? So there's that. Oh my Lord. Pulled out federal funding or stopped federal funding out of nowhere, which was a big deal because he stopped federal funding. There are some home programs that are federally funded. It stopped that. There are, of course, you know what I'm saying, people who go to school and colleges. That money got stopped for a minute there. So people were tripping. Things were in limbo. They said there were child care institutions that didn't get the money they were supposed to get. And there was a lot of, you know what I'm saying, things kind of just left up in the air and all messed up from him pulling back these federal funds. And then what happened, right? A federal judge stepped up and said, that's unconstitutional. He can't stop these funds. So we're going to have a temporary release of these funds. And then they have to argue this thing in court. That's the interesting thing about America, right? But you know what? Barack Obama said that. He said this is a country of laws. We shall seek retribution through the law. So what happened? Trump got up there and his other Republican buddies and all them, they tried to do some hokey stuff. They said, we're just going to mess with the purse strings. We'll just take the money from these different federal programs that we don't think should be funded. Poor kids don't need to eat. We don't care about poor kids' housing. We don't care about that. We're pulling money from that. Saying they don't need that no more, just that. That's unconstitutional, and this is a country of laws. We have laws that stop you from doing that. So now you got to go to court, and we have to argue the law around that action you took. See, that's interesting. That's what I said. And I'm going to regular this show saying, I'm going to say it again. The founding fathers were pieces of garbage. They were rapists. They were murderers. They were slave owners. They owned people. They were horrible human beings. They were vagrants. But they weren't stupid. They knew what they didn't want, and what they didn't want is a dictator. They didn't want a guy like them getting power and doing all the stuff Trump would do. A lot of people say he gets away with stuff because some of this stuff isn't in the Constitution, but isn't it though? Isn't it though? Even though it's not necessarily directly said, there's things in the law to thwart a grifter and a shyster like Trump, because the people who created this country were grifters and shysters, and they already knew, should a horrible person like us get power, we need to put things in place to stop that guy. And we know what we would do because we're horrible people. And now we got a horrible guy in power. But luckily, the framers of this Constitution were also horrible people. So they put things in there You know what I'm saying? To stop a horrible guy? That's amazing to me, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm wrong, you in the pushback zone, push back, but you know I ain't wrong. Anyway, first of all, what else did he screw up this week? Nomination for National Security Secretary Pete Hegseth. Look that guy up. That guy is a raging drunk and a woman beater. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I watched the confirmation. All this stuff he couldn't answer. Then he talk about he wants merit-based hiring in the military. Merit-based hiring? What? Or in the FBI, because he's going to be the FBI director. Merit-based hiring. That's all that's in there. That's what's going on now. There is nobody of color that has any job or any position that they didn't work tooth and nail for and probably wasn't 3 or 4 times more qualified than they need to be to get it. Let me say that again, ladies and gentlemen. DEI ain't helping us, right? Any person who looks like me is extremely qualified for the job they're doing, probably overqualified for them to even get the look that a quote-unquote person not of color would have got. They got to be 2 and 3 times more qualified. So it is what it is. Ain't no black person tripping off at DEI. We done had to be overqualified anyway. It don't mean business as usual, right? So there's that. But this guy, what a joke. What a buffoon. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Whole lot of faith we got to put into this guy. And they were talking about this guy having 3 gin and tonics at 10 o'clock in the morning. And let me tell you something. I've always been a party guy. I've always liked to kick it. I ain't never in my life had no 3 gin and tonics at 10 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God. And this guy gonna have access to all types of weapons of mass destruction, anything and everything else. We'll see how that goes, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, moving on. What else did he do? Then this guy also nominates RFK. RFK is a deranged madman. You say what you want to about him. This guy talking about what did I hear lately? Said something about how black children showed more immunity to COVID if they were given the vaccine earlier. So his whole thing is that black people don't need as much of the vaccine as white people because we have more of an immunity to COVID. How about this? I don't even think that's necessarily so bizarre or crazy because I read different stuff that said things like that. But the point is, dude, no. If the COVID vaccine works, then anybody who needs it should be getting it. We shouldn't sit here and be saying, since you black, you should get less of it than this other person because for whatever reason you have a higher immunity to fight it. That's ridiculous. Then this guy I've talked about on the show, I'm going to talk about it again. Guy talking about you know what I'm saying, how vaccinations lead to autism. I think that's redunculous. You know what I'm saying? They've done studies on that. They're saying it's not necessarily true. If you want to do more studies, that's fine, right? I'm not poo-pooing more studies. But for this guy to just sit up there and just say that blanketly across the board, that's stupid. We know that vaccines help. And now we have a reoccurrence of like smallpox and rubella and some of this other craziness because people haven't been getting vaccinated because of crap like that put out there by people like him. Garbage. So there's that. So that's just some of the stuff that Trump has done this first week or two while he's been up there doing this thing. So there'll be way more, right? But it's just more of the same. You know what I'm saying? More ludicrous from this guy. I heard the Gulf of Mexico is now the Gulf of America. Google that. Girl on the radio was talking about that. I was just like, where does this lunacy end? It won't, because this is Trump we're talking about. And really, he just wants to deflect attention from all the money he getting off of this meme coin or Bitcoin that he got. He got billions off of that. And all the other crap that Elon Musk and some of his other rich buddies, you know, Zuckerberg and dude at TikTok and some of these, you know what I'm saying, some of these oligarch types and some of these titans of industry that, you know what I'm saying, they just gonna, you know, rape America for a bunch of money, and that's all that's gonna go on for the next 3-4 years, ladies and gentlemen. So it is what it is, right? Last thing I want to talk about, and I send this out to your Fox Newses, I send this out to your MSNBCs, I send this out to your Bloombergs, I send this out to any of those news outlets. I don't want to hear about Obama no more. I don't want to hear about Joe Biden no more. I don't want to hear about Hillary Clinton no more. These people are old hat. They did their thing. They are no longer civil servants. Everything that happens now is the fault of your boy Lord King Trump. No one else should be held responsible for any of this garbage. Them fires in California, that's under your watch, Trump. You are to blame for that, and it's your job to fix it. I didn't want you to be in control right now. I don't think you can handle it. I don't think you'll do a good job. You're not doing a good job. You haven't done a good job. You're not known for doing a good job. Guess what? It's still your responsibility to do a job. And when you don't do a good job, I'm going to come here and I'm going to talk about it on Urban Politics. Because it's got to be talked about, man. I got to call you out. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire just like I hold Democrats' feet to the fire. Right? So it's your fault, Trump. I don't want to hear any more about Joe Biden. Sleepy Joe, Joe this, Joe that. They had McCarthy, the guy, he used to be Speaker of the House a while ago. And they were talking about in an expose how he was saying Joe Biden was this and Joe Biden is that and his faculty is this and he suffers from dementia. Shut up. Shut up. I don't want to hear about that anymore. Joe Biden is gone. And he still did a great job. These last 4 years were way better than Trump's 4. So cut it out. Cut it out. On paper, Joe Biden's a better president than Trump, right? And then look, if you want to talk about cognitive disability, here's what you do, ladies and gentlemen, and you never see this on a news show, and that's by grand design. I want to see Trump and Biden side by side on the screen doing a speech. And right there, that'll tell the tale. Both of them are gone. You looking at two delusional old guys. Neither of them has the faculties anymore that they used to have. Neither of them is as good a speaker as they used to be. And Trump was never articulate or prolific. Joe Biden at least used to be the master of the dramatic pause. He ain't even got that anymore because he's old. So both of them are old, suffering from dementia, and too old for the job that they were vying for, right? But one of them's got it again. So we'll see how that goes, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get out of here, I want to talk about my IPA of the week. It is this Stumbleberry Imperial Blueberry Ale from Fathead Brewery. Fathead is the bomb. They got plenty of good beers, and this one is really delicious. It was 9% alcohol. Good stuff, man. This Stumbleberry, I don't know what to say about it, man. Did it have a blueberry taste? Yes, it did. And it was very delicious. If you got a little bit of money in your pocket, you run on down here and get you this Stumbleberry by Fathead Brewery. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. I'm your humble host, Fizz Ed Music. This is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing, and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take yourself on over to YouTube. Like and subscribe. Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics, and without... Oh, well, actually, as always, ladies and gentlemen, see you around like a donut.